Today we're going to be talking about lesson 4.2, the slope of a line. So the slope, m, of a line is a ratio, written as a fraction, of the change in y, the rise, to the change in x, the run between any 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2 on the line. So we have talked about that the slope is the rise over the run. The change in these coordinates is the difference. So you see here that they have pointed out that the rise over the run is the change in y over the change in x. So for 2 points, x1, y1, and x2, y2, we can subtract the y's over subtracting the x's to find the slope. Remember that when the line rises from left to right, when it goes up, that's a positive slope. And when the line falls from left to right, that is a negative slope. Here we're going to find the slope of the line. So looking at number 1, we can see from left to right that the line falls. It goes down. So we know that our answer should be negative. So I'm going to first write out the 2 points, -2, 3, and 3, 2. Now remember, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 minus y1, 2 minus 3 over x2 minus x1. So 3 minus -2. 2 take away 3 is -1. 3 minus -2 minus a negative is like plus a positive. So 3 plus 2 is 5. Now I have a slope of -1/5. Now, looking back, we know that we can count the rise over the run. Did we go down 1 and over 5? If so, that we know that our answer is correct. You go ahead and try numbers 2 and 3 now. Here you can see that I've already filled in the problems. That way we can take a look at solving it. Some of you are probably wondering, how do I know what is the first point and how do I know what is the second point? Essentially, it does not matter. You can choose to use whichever point first. Typically, I use the left one, then the right one, but as long as you do your calculations right, you'll get the same answer. So here, -4, -1, and 2, 1. So 1 minus -1 is like plus a positive, so 2. 2 minus -4, 2 plus +4 is 6. And then we need to reduce. So 2/6 is equal to 1/3. Now, if we look at the slope of our line, did we go up 1 and over 3 to get to the next point on the line? We did, so our slope is 1/3. Now, looking at this last one, 1 minus -5 is 6. -3 minus -4. Well, this is like -3 plus +4, which is 1. And we know that 6 over 1 is 6. Now, did we go 6 up and over 1? And it looks like here actually I have a mistake. I have my numbers plugged in wrong. So hopefully you caught that and we can correct it. So here, let's go back. So I have 1 minus -4 and -3 minus -5. Now, I noticed that was wrong when I noticed that my slope did not match what my graph of my line looked like. So that's why we should always double check. So 1 minus -4, 1 plus +4 is 5. -3 minus -5 plus +5 is 2. So do I go up 5 and over 2? I do, so that way I know my line is correct. So these are the slopes of the line. What is the rise over the run? So now we can find the slope of the line using this method again. So go ahead and try these 4. Here's a good example of why we should use this method, or why we can use this method to find the slope. So you saw in the first 3 problems that we could have picked out the slope from looking at the graph of the line. we're not always going to have the graph of the line to look at. So sometimes we're going to be given 2 points and asked to find the slope, which is when we can use this method. So here you can see that I've already plugged in the problems and we're going to solve. So -2 plus +2 is 0. 7 take away 1 is 6. 0 over 6, well, we know that 0 divided by anything is still 0. So the slope of this line is going to be 0. Now 4 take away 4 is 0. 3 minus -2 is like 3 plus +2, which is 5, and 0 over 5 is 0. So for 4 and 5, I have a slope of 0. Now, that doesn't mean that when you use this method with 2 given points that your answer is always going to be 0. We can, as we saw in the first 3 problems, use this method with other problems as well. So now for number 6 and 7. -5 minus -3. Well, -5 plus +3 is -2. -3 minus -3, -3 plus +3 is 0. When the 0 is in the bottom, when it is in the denominator, our slope is considered undefined. Undefined is the word that we use when the 0 is in the denominator. Now, 0 minus 8 is -8. 0 minus 0 is 0. So again, the 0 in the denominator tells us that the slope is undefined. How do we know that the slope of every horizontal line is 0? And how do you know that the slope of every vertical line is undefined? So if we go back and look at numbers 4 and 5, how did we know that the horizontal, these are going to be horizontal, by the way, 4 and 5, going across like the horizon, how could we tell that these are going to have a slope of 0? Well, if you notice here, the change in the y's was 0. The y did not change. So we knew for horizontal, y value didn't change. Now, what do you think we knew about for the vertical lines? How did we know that the vertical line was going to have a slope of undefined? Well, if we look back here, the x value did not change. So we can write that in here. For a vertical line, the x value didn't change. Now, looking at numbers 9 and 10, the points in a table lie on a line. Find the slope of the line. You're going to pick any 2 points from the table. So for instance, here I'm going to pick 1, 2 and 7, 11. Again, you can pick any 2 points from the table. And then I'm going to use my y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 formula. So 11 take away 2 over 7 take away 1. 11 take away 2 is 9. 7 take away 1 is 6. These can both be divisible by 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now, we cannot have a mixed number as our slope. We can have a fraction, we can have a whole number, we can have an improper fraction, but no mixed numbers. So a slope of 3 over 2 is my final answer. Now go ahead and give number 10 a try. Here you can see on number 10 that no matter which 2 points that you've chosen, that your slope should be -2. So again, it doesn't matter which 2 points from the table you choose, and it doesn't matter which order you have them in, as long as you come up with the correct answer. And no matter which way you do it, you should always get the same answer. So for here, I chose 0, 0, and -1, 2. Probably different than what you've chosen. 2 take away 0 is 2. -1 take away 0 is -1. And 2 divided by -1 is -2. So my slope will be -2.